Right, I'm really not in the mood for this. I just spent 32 minutes recording this and my microphone wasn't even plugged in. But that's in the past now. We gotta move past. Welcome back. Today, I'm gonna be bringing you a step-by-step guide on how to find your main in Rainbow Six Siege. I've done this a year ago and it was really perceived well. So, I might as well update it for 2025 because a lot has changed, to be honest with you. I'm gonna make it a lot more simpler, a lot more quicker, and hopefully by the end of this you will be like, wow, you're so cool, I love you, thank you for telling me who I should and shouldn't play, thank you for telling me one role of operators I can stick to. But before I do that, if you're new around here, please like and subscribe, go follow my Twitch, Twitter and TikTok, all in the description of this video. Without wasting any more time, we're going straight into it. Now when I done this a year ago, the new filters to the operator select screen had just been added with intel, anti-gadget, support, frontline, map control and breach on attack, and then on defense it was trapper, intel, anti-gadget, support, anti-entry and crowd control. Like I said back then, and I'll say it to this day, it is dog shit. Don't use it, don't listen to it at all. They have got a little bit semblance of common sense in there, however, it's really not good. Like, for some reason, IQ is a support operator, she is not. Somehow, Knock is a frontline operator, meaning you're like the first in the building, you're going to be taking the gunfights for the team to follow up on. Knock's a lurk operator, she is not going to be the frontline operator. Anyway, enough complaining. Divide it down into 3 categories. Make it easier on yourself. On attack, entry, support, flex. On defense, roamer, anchor, flex. If you watched last year's video, you should know what entry and support are, and flex I'll explain later when I get onto it. Before we get on to explaining what defense is, straight up, attack. We're going to start off with entry. Your entry, your 3 that I recommend, Ash, Buck, and Blackbeard. And to start off, we have Ash. Ash has access to the R4C for your primary. Don't run the G3, it's not really worth it at the moment. And then for pistols, you have the music and the USG. For secondary gadgets, bring breach charges if it's not the very top floor, and bring claymores if it is the very top floor. And finally, with your main gadget, what you want to do is break bulletproof utility with it, and if you need to be, you do vert or make holes in walls. Ultimately, why Ash is such a powerful and strong entry operator is the fact that she's a free speed, so you can go to where the team needs you. If you need you on blue stairs, for example, in Chalet, and then you need you on the main stairs, you can quickly rotate over there. Next, we'll talk about Buck. Buck has the C8 and only has access to 1 pistol, which is a solid pistol, to be honest with you. It's not bad. Don't run the cameras, always run the C8. C8, low recoil, high fire rate, high damage, good magazine capacity. There's not many flaws in this gun. For secondary gadgets, always run the stun grenades. They'll always assist you in the round, no matter what. If it's, for example, maybe getting a kill on a defender, or even burning utility to support the team on getting rid of another piece of utility, like if you try to burn Jaeger ADSs or Wamais or Runis. Ultimately, stun grenades will always find value. And finally, for your gadget, skeleton key, it's good for getting kills because how high damage it is, but also don't underestimate, it's one of the best for getting holes in floors and walls and whatnot. And what's really strong about Buck as well is how quickly you can swap between your skeleton key and your primary. So if needs be, you make a hole on a wall if someone's behind it, and you quickly flick the switch and then you have a fully auto primary. It's amazing. And finally, the newest addition to the attacking side, Blackbeard, needs no introduction. Ultimately, most of his power runs from his shield and the ability to run a fully auto primary with it. A quick tip I will give is, with the fully auto primary MK17, run an angle grip on it, because the reload, when you reload the assault rifle, it goes for the old reload like you did on pistols with shields previously before the rework, where it puts the shield off to the left and you're fully exposed. So the quicker you put the shield back in front of you, the better. With the shield, ultimately, you're just going to be taking map space as quick as you can. You want to be in the defender's head. Stand there for a bit, wiggle round a bit, pretend to ADS, pretend to sprint at them, but never get greedy. Do not get greedy. Don't be Mr. Greedy. The gadget on Blackbeard is being able to run through walls, which ultimately isn't the best, but it does have its use cases. For example, one that all sticks out in my mind, if you're trying to clear roam operators, which is where you're going to be using the gadget most commonly, because the fact that, you know, the closer you get to the site, the more reinforced malls you're going to find. On the roam clear, if for example you have a roam clear like a Dokkaebi or a Jackal or a Deimos, go left through one door and then you break through the soft wall on the right. You create a pinch on the defender and then you kill the defender who's roaming. And finally, for secondary gadgets, run the frag grenades. Claymores are just stinky poo-poo, don't use them. And that concludes entry operators. Your main goal on entry, just remember, keep it in mind, be the first person in the building, the first person after the drones to capitalise off the intel, to take the map space off the map control you get from droning. And as long as you get that first kill, you've done your job. That is the main goal as an entry, is to get that first kill and stay alive. Because in Rainbow Six Siege, it's a 5v6 when you're on the attack. It's you as an attacker against the 5 defenders and the clock. So as long as you can get the bomb down, or you kill all the defenders, then attacking is easy. I mean, go figure, if you kill all the defenders, no one else. Anyway, you get the point. Next, we're going to be moving on to support. Now, support operators are going to be people in the last in the building, kind of your opposite of the entry. And what you want to be doing as a support operator is droning for the entry, making sure you know where the traps lay ahead, where the defenders lay ahead, everything that you need to look out for. Now, you can't talk about support without talking about the OG, Thermite, one of the best support operators in the game probably. Thermite has access to the 5.56, which is solid primary, lower recoil, good damage, good fire rate, good magazine capacity. Similar pistols to Ash with the music and the USG. And then for your secondary gadgets, smoke grenades or stun grenades. It's whatever you want to run. Smoke grenades, just be careful though. You can place a bad smoke grenade that does help the defenders, so try avoid that if possible. And stun grenades, I prefer because they're easier to use and ultimately they provide you with getting that capability of burning defender utility and make it easier to get kills on defenders. For your main gadget, the Exo Breach Charge, place it on a reinforced wall and open it. Just be careful though, you don't want to die doing it, of course. It's never good if you die in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, but it's very important that you don't die because you're going to be the planter most likely as well. Stay alive, make sure you're one of the last attackers alive in the round, but don't bait. Don't be a baiter. No one likes a masturbator. Next support operator, Grim. 5.52, 48 damage, 690 fire rate, 30+1 magazine on the 5.52, incredible. Stick an extended barrel on the 5.52, your damage will be going up to 52 damage per bullet. That means you can have 2-shot, 3 speeds. So don't underestimate Grim's fragging capabilities. For your secondary weapons, run the Bailiff, don't run the P229. Bailiff has low damage, but that's not your goal with the Bailiff. You're going to be making holes in the map, holes and like rotates and head holes, making it better for you as the attackers to get through the map. They're very flexible, they're very good for a support operator. Now, because of Grim's secondary gadgets, this is why I make an argument for him being one of the best, if not the best operator on attack right now. Because he can EMP the electrification to assist you in opening breaches, or he could go and make breaches in walls and in hatches with his Harvest Breach can openers. And that's before we've even talked about his main gadget, the Grim Launcher. The Grim Launcher, ultimately, just think about it like this. I don't want a defender to be here, so I'm going to shoot it there. I don't want a defender to be there, so I'll shoot it there. That's your only job with Grim. The only thing I recommend you do need to learn though is don't die while doing it. But that's a lot more easier now with the ability to bounce the Grim Launcher. Stick it in one bounce, shoot it around the corner, and deny an operator from going through that doorway or going through that breach. Grim is pretty simple, and having 5 of them as well, he's turbo broken. And ultimately as well, if you do need it, at needs be, you can burn defenders with their Jaegers and the Wamais, with the Kawawa, the Hive Launcher as it's called in game. I've butchered that name. On to the next one. Final support operator is going to be very controversial. Ram. You may be thinking to yourself, R4C, you're going to be fragging out, getting as many kills as possible. Very not the case. Ram very much benefits from being the last person in the building because he has a free armor. Think about it like this. If you drone in your entry and your room clear to make sure you can walk in through the upstairs without any contest, it makes your life a whole lot easier. Because all you're going to do is throw down the drones, do the vert, don't run the LMGE. I've seen some content creators talk about, use it for doing vert. Don't do it. Don't ever run this piece of shit. The R4C is one of the best guns in the game. Don't ever skip on it. And ultimately, as well, with the vert, smoke grenades are a very good strong combination with the vert, because when the bigger drones are all down, they're being placed, you can then stay above the site, hold the vert for your other attackers to go get the bomb down or go clear the site, and you have the smoke grenades to cut off angles you're not going to be holding or you don't want your teammates to be holding. It makes life so much easier. But with that being said, support on the attack is done. The main thing I can recommend you take away from this is support on attack. Last people in the building, droning in the entries, util over gunplay, and ultimately your KD is going to be low, but your rank's going to be high. And to move on to the final category on attack, flex. Now flex on attack consists of many different subcategories. So the 5 that I've narrowed it down to, but there's definitely more, is support, entry, roam clear, flank watch, and breach. Now your support and entry, we've already talked about. Your roam clear is going to be your Dokkaebi and your Deimos. Your flank watch is going to be your Nomad, your Gridlock. There's a case to be made about Zero, but that's you relying on ranked teammates to hold your cameras. And let's be real here for a second, every single ranked teammate you've ever had is dog shit. They're not going to be looking at your cameras. And the final category is breaches. So your Aces, your Sledges, your Zophias, your Habanas, these people of the world. Now the 5 I recommend, taking it down simple, is going to be your Monty, who is a very flexible operator, is the only operator on the game that can walk through contested areas of the map by defenders and just walk up to them, ignore the voice crack. You can just literally just walk through them, no bother at all, they can't do anything to you, you're chilling. That's incredibly powerful. Next, Nomad. You know, being able to do flank watch by just a press of a button is really powerful. And as soon as you hear them fly on their ass, you swing that as an attacker, get a free kill on the roamer. It's amazing. Sledge, one of the best for Vert, now that he's a 2-2. And having frag grenades. With the hammer as well, you can break cast barricades and mesh your evil eyes. Sledge is probably the best countering them. And the L8 is one of the best primaries in the game. Next is Striker. Striker, having the M4 in the pocket, Aita shotgun is good, getting those kills, and then making angles for yourself. But then what makes Striker so powerful is the power that lies in secondary gadgets on attack. You can run any combination, but the two I recommend that the best is EMPs and can openers, and frag grenades and stun grenades. So with this, if you want to go for hatches that are K-clawed, you run the hard breach can openers and the EMPs, and then if there's like a deployable shield or a damage you need to take care of any bulletproof utility, you run the frag grenades and the stun grenades to burn, frag grenades to actually break the piece of utility you're trying to break. Simple pimples. But with that being said, attack is done. We have flown through attack. Now, we'll move on to defense, and to refresh your memory, defense consists of roamers, anchors, and flex. Now, to absolutely zero people's surprise, best roamer to start off with is Vigil. The Boss G with an ACOG is incredible for getting kills. And topless as well, you have the SMG-12, which is another incredible weapon to get kills with. Then your ERC-7, which prevents you from being spotted on drones, but they get little white lines around the camera so they know that you're in the area. The ERC-7 is really good for roaming because one of the best ways to counter a roamer is through droning. So by adding that unease on attackers and not knowing where you are makes them extremely powerful. And of course, impact grenades are incredible for rotating, getting away from sticky situations if you need to. For the next roamer on this list, Goyo. Goyo for Vulcan canisters. Place them in spots that you don't want to plant, you don't want the attackers to be in, you don't want them to push through. You place it down and you forget about it. Job's done. Impact grenades as well to assist you on the roam, like I said with Vigil. And that Vector with the ACOG is one of the most disgusting weapons on defense. Such a high fire rate, difficult recoil, but once you get used to it, it's incredible. And that ACOG as well, so you can go take these long range gunfights, ultimately just makes Goyo a killing machine. 2-2 as well isn't half bad, it's not bad at all. But finally, to round out the roamers, we're going to have Mozzie. Now, Mozzie, for the longest time, wasn't that powerful. He has access to the Commando 9 assault rifle, but it's not really, it's an SMG to be honest with you. And the P10 Roni SMG. Pick your poison here. Really, you just want to be picking what you find most comfortable to play with. The Commando 9 has a low fire rate, good damage, good magazine capacity. However, the P10 Roni has bad damage, very high fire rate, and bad magazine capacity. So, ultimately, what do you prefer? If you're going to run the P10 Roni, I recommend you run an angle grip to speed up that rotate, like I said with Blackbeard, because you have such a low magazine capacity and you're going to be reloading a lot. Why not just make it instant? It's like a click of the finger and it's done. And topless as well, you have a slightly quicker ADS time with the P10 Roni. So if you spend a lot of time hip firing around the map, which you shouldn't, I recommend P10 Roni might be for you. For pistols, you're stuck for this STP. Then for secondary gadgets, run the C4. Don't ever run impact grenades or barbed wire. They're just not comboed well with Mozzie's utility. And his pest launcher. Now the pest launcher, that's incredible. Now I can't emphasize this enough. The pest launcher is the only defender utility, actually scrap that, the only utility in the game that can take away from the attackers and give it to the defense. Well, Brava can do it nowadays, but still, listen, the fact that you can take away intel from the attackers is strong. It's a very strong gadget. You know, you look at Mute that does that, and that is a very sought after piece of utility. Now you take that away and then you give it to the defenders, makes Mozzie such a powerful and underrated roamer. Playing off C4s off your gadgets as well are incredible, and all in all, Mozzie goes very unnoticed. So if you want a strong roamer to play that not really many people are playing, play Mozzie. Next we have the anchors. Now anchors are simple, they're easy to understand. You're going to be sitting on site like support, and ultimately what you're going to be doing is spending a lot of your early round on cameras to give callouts to roamers, and then you're spending your later round using your utility, using your gadget to burn time, and then ultimately win the round for your team. And the three best anchors since the day one basically has always been Smoke, Mute, Near. Smoke and Mute have the Mossberg shotgun to set up the site, and the SMG-11 to frag out with. With Smoke, you want to run the barbed wire so you can get the audio cue, you can slow them down, and get a free kill. And topless as well, your smoke canisters, you're going to struggle to find such thing as a bad smoke, because as long as you're wasting time with it, it's going to be very powerful. Now with Mute, your signal disruptors, place them where you think a drone's going to come from. Place them where you think a breach might be made if you don't have your bandits, your Cades, your Tuberels. You want to place them to waste time, and ultimately you just want to play off your shotgun and your SMG. And then finally, Mira. The Vector is incredible on Mira. Also, fun fact, Mira actually had the highest win rate out of any operator in the game at SI, which is Pro League, like the Pro League finals in the most recent event. Mira is probably the most influential operator in this game because there's so many sites that would be unplayable without her. She completely changes how a site is played. For example, one that always comes to my mind is Basement on Bank. You place this Mira facing server, and then it makes a whole nother piece of utility they must clear as attacker before they can get the bomb down. And if they don't clear it, then you're golden. You've got free intel, and they don't know when you're getting the free intel. Play your C4 to deny time, get kills, and then the Vector to frag out, and the ITA to set up the site. If you can learn these three operators, you'll probably never need to learn another anchor ever again, because they are like the golden three. But with that being said, we'll move on to the final category of this video, flex on the defense. Now, flex on defense, like we've talked about, on anchor, on roamer, are covered inside flex, but we've got 3 more, so 5 in total. You're gonna have to learn how to play traps, bridge, and denial. Now traps is simple, it's easy to understand. Your Capcans, your lesions, and your Melusis. Simply, what it is get kills, do chip damage, or simply waste time by placing these traps around the map. Ultimately as well, the longer you stay alive, the more value you're probably going to get out of your traps, so you can play off them, especially when you're playing Legion, because you need to stay alive as long as possible to get all your goo mines down around the map. And what you also typically find as well is with trap operators, they actually bring a second piece of utility in order to assist setting up the site. So for Capcan, that would be the bulletproof or barbed wire. For Legion, it would be your signature shotgun and your bulletproof. And then for Melusi, it would be impact grenades if you try to impact trick breaches, or bulletproofs to get intel, and secondary shotgun to set up site. Now, with bridge operators, are your in between of an anchor and a roamer. What you want to do as a bridge is soft roam or soft anchor, meaning you're just a little bit off site or a little bit around site, so that it makes it easier for your roamers to get back into site, or your anchors to get out of sight. The first bridge operator that always comes to my mind is Azami. Now Azami with the Rust and SMG and the Deagle is amazing for getting kills and setting up site. Then you have the impacts to, of course, break your own keybuzz, or maybe making rotates, or breaking hatches to go down, or you could bring the barbed wire, which is another powerful piece of utility to Azami, which means that it'll slow them down, give you an audio cue, and does some chip damage. Now all you want to do with Azami is fortify yourself. Make it so you're hard to clear, so that it makes it easier for defenders like your Vigils, your Ellas, your Mozzies, your Goyos to get back to site. Or if needs be, for example, bank basement, I know we're going back there a lot, but bank basement, for example, if they take site and you need to have a mute run up above so you can clear the hatches and then clear server. I keep voice cracking, I'm going to fucking go ballistic in a second. Oh my god. But to round off the bridge operators, we have Fenrir. Fenrir is a really strong and underrated bridge operator because you have the FNAT mines you can throw around the map and then activate 2 at a time. So what I recommend you do with the FNATs is, for example, if you're not holding one area, you activate that FNAT, and then if it goes off, you turn around and you kill anyone who's in the FNAT. Apart from that as well, the Bailiff, strong for setting up site. The MP7, good for killing people. Run the bulletproof camera. Don't ever run an observation blocker. Observation blockers are useless. I have never seen anyone get value out of them. I've never even seen a pro player get value out of them. Do not run them. And finally, to round out the video, and the last category inside of flex on defense is denial. Now your denial, simple for you. Bandit, Cade, Tuberal. Now a Bandit, MP7 and the P12 are really strong weapons in themselves, and that would already be strong enough, but you also have the C4 as well to go and get kills. And just to clear things up, every single denial operator in this game has a C4, so your Bandit, your Mute, your Cade, and your Tuberal all have C4. Then, on top of this as well, what you want to learn on Bandit is how to Bandit trick. So this consists of you placing and picking up Bandit batteries to keep the wall closed and ultimately makes sight easier to play. Then, on top of this as well, your free speed, 1 health, so you can get anywhere you need to be around the map. But your main goal on Bandit is keep the breach closed as long as possible without you losing your life. Next, similar Bandit, Cade. Cade, you need to learn how to Cade trick. This consists of you placing down your Cade claws, picking them back up and placing them down again. Your free armor 1 speed, so opposite Bandit here, but your main skill gap on Cade is learning how to control the TCSG. It's a shotgun DMR and it's good for setting up sites, so that's why you want to run it. So you can set up the site, then go kill people with it. With Cade, as long as you can learn how to Cade trick on hatches, like for example in Clubhouse Basement, inside of Moto, then you're going to have an amazing time playing Cade, and you're going to quickly see yourself rank up. But my main tip I give you though, don't die doing the Cade tricking. You're better off giving up a hatch than dying trying to keep a hatch closed, because as soon as you die, the hatch will probably end up getting open anyway. And finally, for the last operator of the video, Tuberal, a 2 speed 2 armor with the AR-15 and the MPX. Run the AR-15. I know it might be difficult for your console players out there because it's a single shot weapon, but if you've got a good trigger finger on you, and you've got trigger stoppers on your controller, or you're using bumpers to shoot an ADS, you should be fine. For your gadget, there's auto canister. You want to place it on hatches alongside your Cade, or on walls alongside your Bandit to make it easier for them to trick and a more hands-off job. There's a reason why Turbro is often seen in pro play as one of the best operators in the game right now, because as long as you have a competent Turbro, it should be theoretically impossible for attackers to open a wall, as long as there's no, like soft breach around about it. But anyway, Zotoman or Turbro is incredible, so do learn how to play him. Secondary weapon, SCS pistol, and like I said already, secondary gadget, C4. So ultimately, it's an option between your pussy and use the MPX, or use the AR-15 like a Giga Chad, up to you. Oh, side note as well, if I see you using the proxy alarm, I will shoot you in the back of the head in game. But with that being said, that is the end of the video. I hope with this, you found your main for the next how many more years you play the game. However, one piece of advice I will give you, and this is going to extend out of Siege. Take every round as a different game. Of course, learn what you learn from the other team, but don't hold any mental attachment to it. Don't get tilted, don't shout at your teammates, and ultimately, life will be easy and you'll win so much more games. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please do consider liking and subscribing. And without wasting any more of your day, thank you for sticking around. I love you. Goodbye.